everybody, welcome to Felicity Yarn Studio. My name is Zoe. I am a fiber artist coming to you from the foothills of North Carolina. This is where I like to sit down and share what I've been making over the last month or so. Today that's going to include some knitting, some crochet, and what I have been dyeing. So yes, I also have an Etsy store under the name Felicity Yarn Studio where I sell my hand-dyed yarns. While we're on that subject real quick, I'll just go ahead and get my kind of only announcement out of the way up front, and that is that I will be listing advent calendars for sale starting on June 1st. I think I kind of talked about this last time that I am going to be doing a theme based on historical dresses and costumes. Beautiful gowns that the women of yesteryear wore, and I'm gonna call it the Dressmaker's Advent Calendar as a nod to the people who really are behind these beautiful garments, the ones who, you know, broke their backs and worked their fingers to the bone to make these lovely, lovely gowns that the very privileged few got to wear. I am doing it as a fade, and when I list the listing on Etsy, I'll go ahead and list a few of the garments that I'll be using as colorway inspiration. That way you can kind of get a feel for what you can expect with this advent without having like complete spoilers on the colorways if you still like to have surprises. Oh, and lastly, I am thinking about doing it on a minimum of 3 different bases this year. Possibly 4. I haven't completely made up my mind on that yet. I'll be offering the regular old sock base yarn, which is, you know, 75% superwash, 25% nylon, and then the same thing on DK weight. And I want to do 1, possibly 2 more like luxury bases, probably just 1. And I'm still split on whether that's going to be MCN, merino cashmere nylon, or a merino silk blend. So if you have a preference, drop me a comment down in the comments below if you're interested in a luxury blend. So that's where I'm at. I will be dyeing those soon. My life is going to get taken over by advent calendars yet again, but I am ready for it. I've talked about this before. I always burn myself out throughout the summer and the fall working on advent calendars, but I'm hoping to pace myself a little better. I say this every year. I hope to pace myself better, and I do think I get incrementally better at doing that. Probably not. Whatever. It is what it is. So anyway, let's roll on into finished objects, and as you can tell, I am currently wearing my most recent finished object. This is the Darjeeling cardigan by Knitting for Olive, and I have knit mine out of 3 different bases. The first one is from Brooklyn Tweed. It was a lace weight yarn that they have since discontinued. I think it was 100% Rambouillet. And then I dyed up one of my colorways called Hellebore on mohair silk, and then I also had some of the Surrey alpaca, the brush Surrey alpaca base, which are both the kind of fluffy, halo-y bases that you see. So it is written to normally hold 3 strands of mohair silk together, but I just didn't have that around, and that's even buying the undyed yarn and dyeing it yourself, that's still a pretty big investment. So I just went with whatever I had around, and I think it worked out perfectly. I was playing a little bit of yarn chicken with this, since the brush Surrey alpaca base has slightly less yardage. I think it has about 100 less yards per skein compared to the lace weight, or the mohair silk is also a lace weight base. So I had like 300 and something yards versus the 450 yards on the other 2 bases. So I used up every last bit of the 4 skeins of brush Surrey alpaca. The other 2 I had some leftovers. So I did go ahead and knit the sleeves before I finished the cuff at the very, or not the cuff, the hem at the very bottom, but it still wound up being like just enough, the perfect amount of yarn. I knit the second largest size because there didn't seem to be a whole lot of differentiation in sizes. It was only like a difference of 2 inches between each size, and I think there were 4 or 5 different sizes for this pattern, but they're all designed to have a good like 18 to 20 inches of positive ease because it is intended to be such a large oversized type cardigan. One thing that I did skip that I'm contemplating going back and making is you're supposed to knit a belt, but there's no like loops to put the belt through. So I don't know, sometimes I do wish that I could kind of close it up and wrap a belt around. So I may go back and do that. I'm not 100% sure. The main thing that I have been using this for is first thing in the mornings, I will just slip it on over the little like night dress that I've been sleeping in lately, or in the evenings, you know, when I've slipped out into my comfy clothes, I'll throw this on over, and I'm really loving it. I have not blocked it because I don't necessarily need it to grow any, and the only thing that I could kind of see benefiting from a block is it does do a little bit of curving here or curling in on the neckband, even though it is a rib stitch along the neckband here, but I'm not super fussed about that. The cuffs are slightly stretching out a bit, even though I did go all the way down to the size 7 needle for those. But otherwise, I love this thing. It is so cozy. It is quite warm. I'm hoping to make it through the entire recording here with keeping this on. So I have left my fan on low if you guys hear it, to try to keep me from sweating to death under this thing. But yeah, it was a really well written pattern. There was a ton of short row shaping for the shoulders, even for the arm holes for the sleeves here, along this area too. I believe there was some short row shaping. So you're not just getting like these flat kind of rectangular shapes for the garment, you're getting really rounded shapes that are gonna fit your body, even though it is really oversized and cozy. So if I haven't already, I'll put footage on the screen of me actually wearing it so you can see like the full body shot. This was a really nice pattern to knit. Again, the only kind of roadblock I could potentially see is the fact that it calls for 12 or more skeins of mohair silk. I do know that there are some more like affordable options for that type of base versus buying hand-dyed. So yeah, if you have any suggestions for some more affordable mohair silk kind of skeins, let me know in the comments down below what your favorite kind of go-to for budget fuzzy yarns are, because I could actually see myself knitting another one of these. I love it. I've been wearing it almost daily since I finished it a few weeks ago. I actually don't have a ton of whips to catch you guys up on. 2 things and then some socks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull the next one out. This is living in one of my fat bottom bags, which is a bag. I bought this fabric years ago and I sent it off to my aunties down in Florida. They stitched up, they made it into a nice bucket bag here for me. We did a bit of a swap. I dyed some yarn for them and they sewed up a lot of bags for me. They made me like 5 or 6 project bags. But yes, if you are interested in some project bags, I think they have a Facebook page. I'll try to leave a link in the description box for y'all for that. I do know that you can find them in person in the Pan Bang Knit Shop in Brooksville, Florida. Anyway, I have made some progress on my Cozy Classic Raglan sweater by JessieMae Martinson. here we are. I think I was just about ready to separate for the sleeves the last time that I pulled this out for you guys. And I have separated for the sleeves, and I have knit almost an entire sleeve. Now, I have run into, yes ma'am, Darcy is here. I have run into a bit of a roadblock here. The reason I decided, The reason I decided to go ahead and knit my sleeves first is that, again, I'm playing a little bit of yarn chicken. Ma'am, she loves the cardigan too. Whenever I leave it on the bed, I always find her curled up on it. All right, so Cozy Classic. I had a total of about 3 skeins of yarn left. I had a total of 5 skeins of yarn for this project that I bought. They were kind of a one-of-a-kind colorway from U2 Yarns that I picked up at SAF last year. She's completely derailed my train of thought here. Last time I had talked about potentially separating the sleeves a few stitches, few rounds earlier than what the pattern called for. I actually tried the sweater on and I opted not to do that. I just went on ahead and did all of the increases for the sleeves. It fits actually really well following the pattern, but I am kind of choosing to do a size that has like 0 to maybe 2 inches of positive ease, so very little positive ease. I don't really want this to be super oversized. So again, I tried it on right after I separated. I kept knitting. I've been alternating skeins of yarn, so I was alternating between like the very last little bit of one ball, and I had joined a new one. My thought process was I'll finish alternating between these two, and then I'll have 2 skeins of yarn left and go ahead and alternate those for the sleeves, and then throw in whatever's left for the bottom of the body. Fast forward, I've knit almost the entire first sleeve. I'm gonna have to put you down, ma'am. Fast forward to me having knit the entire first sleeve, and it all turned out fine except for where I picked up under the arm and closed the stitches. Now it looks really nice and neat, but that's because I picked up like 6 extra stitches on each side of the underarm cast on. And my solution to try and remedy that was just to do some rapid decreases over like the first 2 or 4 rows. I did a decrease row, then an even row, then another decrease row to get me down to the stitch count that I needed to match the pattern. However, it has left me with this little weird, funky pucker happening right here on the underarm, or near the underarm, and I'm gonna slip it on real quick so y'all can see. Okay, so yeah, you see how I'm getting this like little bulge here, which I don't know if I need to completely rip back and reknit this sleeve. I don't know if I'm being too nitpicky about it. The sleeves are also slightly tighter than what I would prefer them to be. I may also consider doing some less rapid decreases, but again, that kind of affects my yarn chicken situation. So part of the reason why I decided it was time to sit down and record was because I'm at a crossroads on this. I think I just don't want to accept the fact that I need to rip back and reconsider how I do the underarm here, either more evenly work out those decreases for the extra stitches that I picked up, because personally I have found that that is one of the few ways that I can actually get the underarms picked up with as few of gaping holes as possible in those areas without then having to like come back and do some creative weaving in of the ends to close those up. I don't know. I alternated the skeins on all of this doing the helical knitting. So it would mean ripping out 2 balls of yarn, trying to keep them from getting detangled, but I think I just have to suck it up and re-knit this. I think it is what it is, and it is gonna bother me to have this like weird flabby thing happening here in the underarm, especially since it really fits so well everywhere else. And again, I think I would rather have slightly roomier sleeves and more of a cropped body style if I have to choose between body length and more comfortable sleeves. So this is where I'm at on my Cozy Classic Raglan. Again, it's a pattern by JessieMae Martinson, and I just happen to have the label here from U2 Yarns. All right, let me do another wardrobe change here real quick. So that is my first whip, and really the only other thing that I have been working on I'll get to in a minute. I'm sure you can guess what that is if you watched the last episode. But before we do that, I figured I would go ahead and announce the winners of the 1,000 subscriber giveaway. So thank you to everyone who left a comment on the last video letting me know like what your dream trip would be, or if money was no object, where would you travel in the world? There were quite a lot of answers for Ireland and for Italy. So Italy is pretty high on my list of places that I want to visit. I agree with quite a lot of you who mentioned wanting to like eat your way through that trip, because I mean, that just sounds divine to me. But let's see. I did do random comment picker, and we have 2 winners here. One of you will get the Lopi yarn from Iceland in these 2 beautiful colorways, and then the other winner will get this sock set from my shop in the Lavender Fields colorway. I don't know who's gonna get what, just I guess the first person to comment, let me know what you prefer, and then the other person gets the other one. So the 2 winners are Virgin Tyrell and Elizabeth Mark. So congratulations to y'all 2. Leave me a comment down below. I will get you either the email address that you can contact me at, or if it's easier just to get with me on Instagram, slide in my DMs, let me know what your address is, and I will get those prize packages out to you guys shortly. So again, thank you to everyone who has shown me any kind of support on this channel. There's like a gazillion crows outside going nuts, and I don't know what what to think of that. They're being really loud. Sorry, I'm easily distracted today. So again, thank you to everyone who entered the giveaway. If you have liked or subscribed, left me a comment. I really appreciate all of that support. I don't do a Patreon. I have a Ko-fi coffee account link in my thing, but I feel really weird asking people for money, essentially. But if you want to support the channel, the best way is just to like, comment, subscribe. Can y'all hear that? Weird. All right, so up next, the love of my life. The love of my making life. I have been smitten with this project. I love it for so many reasons. I am making some good progress here on my Gigantoid granny stripe blanket. It doesn't look like I've made a whole lot of progress. If you just look at this, I mean, that's a fair amount of progress. Stitch marker down here is where I was the last time I recorded. And I did measure it a few rows ago, and I was at about 15 inches. I'm probably at about 16 inches now. Yeah, so I am making a granny stripe blanket for our king size bed. and I had to chain 600 stitches to get this thing long enough. It is about 120 inches in width, and I think I'm going for about 110 inches in height. I don't remember exactly, but I did do some maths. So at 15 inches, I had used up 635 grams of yarn. So this is already almost 7 skeins worth of yarn here. Then I did the like solve for X equation. I'm not a math person, to figure out approximately how many grams of yarn I would need to get. I didn't write down what length it was, but I have it saved on the notes app on my phone. I need a total of 5,000 grams of yarn. It feels ridiculous just to even say that out loud. What's even more ridiculous is I rounded up everything. I picked out all of the mini skeins that I, wanted to throw into this blanket. I pulled a few full-size skeins from my stash where I like only had 1 or 2 of them. I have 3,700 grams of yarn available currently to make this. So I have the majority of the yarn that I need for this thing. I only need 13 more skeins of yarn to finish this, to have enough yardage only. So yeah, this is my life. This is where I'm at. There are a few little places where I can still pull some yarn from. I have a blanket that I'm frogging, that I did not include in that count, and obviously I'll be dyeing more yarn for advent calendars for this year, and I don't know, I tend to keep a few of my little miss dyes or things like that. So yeah, this is where I'm at. Again though, I'm pretty much addicted to working on this thing. It takes me about like half an hour, 45 minutes to do a row. So if I do like 2 rows a day on this, I'm perfectly happy. It's a beast. It's a beautiful beast. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah. So I know I'm a crazy person. I've mentioned before that I like to do the Russian join for this type of project. I'm not really a fan of the magic knot. And yeah, not really making any magic cakes at this point because I've found that about a 20-gram mini skein of yarn will get me 2 full rows and then like less than a quarter of a third row. So some of them I'm using up completely. Some of them I'm only doing 1 row and kind of saving them to repeat later in the blanket. This bag is all of the yarn that I have yet to knit, and I need to cake up like an entire gallon bag of minis. This is all yarn. This is all yarn that I have used and plan on repeating again at some point. It's actually relatively contained and kind of organized chaos, which I feel like is the story of my life. But yeah, that's it. That's what I've been making. I've been working on my sweater. I've been working on my blanket. And actually, I lied. I'll give you a quick sock update since they're right here. Occasionally I've been pulling out socks to do a few rows every night. So I have Jason socks here, which, I mean, I've done like a whole 2.5, 3 inches of knitting since we've returned from Florida in January on these. I did go ahead and I dyed up some minis to do the heels and possibly the cuffs. I think I'm just going to do the heels in this contrast color. I thought for sure I could look at that blue color and like match it by eye and just dye up a couple minis. Yeah, it took me like 4 or 5 tries to get the color just right. So there's these, and then just a quick peek because I don't really want to get into them, but I am pretty much at the point where I'm ready to put the toes on my socks. Ugh, yeah, this is why I didn't want to pull them all out. Yeah, I'm pretty much at the point where I'm ready to put the toes on my socks, which I'm making out of Retrosaria in her Mondim base. So I really, really love these. Getting a little low on yarn, but I definitely have enough to get the toes at least put on there. So that's it. That is what I have been making. It's blanket and sweater, occasionally a few rows on socks. I do have two very small little acquisitions that I'll go ahead and mention up here. Again, it was the time of year for Muststash Yarns to put up her Star Wars colorways, which is what the gray and blue socks are that I'm making for Jason. I had to go ahead and grab this new colorway from her called Mando and Little G for Dinjarin and Grogu. I thought it was super cute and really pretty colors. So Jason and I are kind of fighting over who's gonna get the socks made out of this skein of yarn. I might do him shorties, that way I can have enough to get me a pair of shorties as well. We'll see. But this is him in a skein. Black, blue, gray, green, brown. That's it. And then on whatever day Earth Day was, April 22nd, we drove up to the Asheville Farmers Market for the day. They were having a plant sale as well as a fiber day put on by Local Cloth, which is, I think the closest thing I can describe them as is kind of like a guild. They offer things like classes and studio space, and I think they have a little retail space as well. I'm thinking about joining them just so I have somewhere to go and to chat about fibery things with people. There's no real local yarn shops that are like close to me. Everything is either 45 minutes into Charlotte or like an hour and a half into Asheville. So yeah, I need some excuses to get out of the house and make some in real life friends. So I think I'm gonna join that group and try to attend a knit night maybe once a month or so. It's an hour and a half is a little bit of a drive for a knit night. Anyway, they were putting on a fiber day at the farmers market in addition to all these other things happening there that day. So we just made a day of it. There were about, oh, my bag's all stuck. There were about, I don't know, maybe about 20 booths or so of local farms, sheep farmers, alpaca farmers, fiber artists selling either, you know, their fiber from their sheep. I really contemplated getting a full fleece, but it's on my one day goal list is to acquire a beautiful fleece, scour it, wash it, spin it, knit it into something. That day was not, it was not that day. It was not meant to be, and it's fine, it's fine. I did, however, find some beautiful alpaca fiber from Paradiso La Caria. And I think they're actually pretty local to me. I think they're kind of in the Gastonia area, which is about 15 minutes down the road from me. Let me pull this out of the crinkle bag. But yes, it is some alpaca fiber that has been made into a bat. These are, I got two 2-ounce bats. It is quite soft, and is it still lanolin if it comes off of an alpaca, or is it called something else? I know, you smell it and you want to lick the plastic bag. Anyway, I really liked the kind of slight reddish color that this has, and I've not spun a ton of alpaca. I really think I've only spun it once or twice. So I'm looking forward to sitting down, Darcy. I am looking forward to pulling my spinning wheel back out. I will probably spin that one on my ladybug and kind of playing around with that and seeing how that handles. I have also been feeling the urge to get my e-wheel back out and finish the sweater spin that I have started on there, and also do some sock yarn spins potentially. I don't know. She doth protest. What? Come back. So just real quick up here at the end, I wanted to go ahead and share with you guys what I have been dyeing over the last few weeks. I'm going to put a picture up on the screen of the neon speckled mini fade that I have finally completed. I had about 6 or 7 of these colorways in my shop regularly, and I had been selling them as a set, and I've always wanted to kind of flesh that out and turn it into a full 12 mini set, kind of a rainbow neon mini fade. So I have done that. They are currently available. And then the next thing that I have been working on as of late, I know that there is a new season of the Outlander show getting ready to start, and I have a couple of Outlander themed colorways. So this is Fraser's Ridge sock set. Apologies for the cat who needs babysitting. And then this is my Highland Heather set. Now, this one does look slightly different than when I originally dyed these up, due to the fact that I have some new dye pans, some new equipment. So it's just taking me a little bit of an adjustment to get used to the new equipment, as well as, admittedly, I do not take the best notes when I dye yarn. I do jot things down, but then the pages get wet and the ink runs in the book, or sometimes my handwriting is illegible, or it's like spread across 3 different pages. So I've been trying to copy my recipes down in a more neat, more coherent manner, to make it easier on myself in the future. Some colorways I can just like look at them and I know by sight what I need to do. Other ones I have to really like read all the detailed instructions that I've made for myself. So by the time this video gets uploaded, I should have those listed in the shop, and I've just kind of been sneaking some little one-of-a-kind things in the shop, as well as I've got a few mystery mini skein sets. So they are sets of 6 20-gram minis, and they're just either misdyes or things that have been sitting around for way too long. I try to at least coordinate them into coordinating bunches of colors. So like if you're working on a scrappy project or want some scrappy looking socks, or just like to collect mini skeins like I do, they're a really great option as well. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up since Little Miss needs all kinds of attention apparently. And that's all I have to share with you guys today. So thank you for joining me. Again, congratulations to the winners. Don't forget to get up with me so that I can get those prizes out to you. I will hopefully be back in another few weeks with some more content that isn't just a blanket and a sweater. And if you don't want to miss when the advent calendars go on sale, follow me on Instagram for that kind of announcement. Actually, I may go ahead and put one up here on the YouTube feed once I have them listed. Basically, I do first come, first serve. I'll put up what's for sale for the year. When they're sold out, they're sold out. So I think I forgot to mention at the top, I'll be doing wrapped and unwrapped minis as an option as well. So it does cost about $50 more to purchase the wrapped option, and that is because wrapping them takes a lot of my time. So yeah. All right, guys, thank you again for joining me. Darcy says, thank you for joining us. I will talk to you again soon. Bye. You rotten, you know that?